Chapter 1: The Shift. It started subtly. Ethan was still the same man I married, kind, attentive, funny. The man who left notes in my lunchbox and danced with me barefoot in the kitchen. But about 6 months ago, something began to shift. It wasn't coldness, not exactly. It was more like distraction. Like part of him had drifted somewhere I couldn't reach. I chalked it up to work stress at first. Ethan was managing a new marketing team downtown, and late nights were more common. But then came the weekends, once sacred, hours, and those became filled with solo errands and vague excuses. Until I found the texts. They weren't scandalous at first glance. Just personal. Long conversations with someone named Lucas. Talks about art, late-night walks, and deep feelings. I scrolled further, my stomach sinking. There were, "I miss you," S, and "Thinking of you," S. Then finally, a photo of the two of them, Lucas's head resting on Ethan's shoulder, both smiling like no one else existed. Chapter 2. Truth and silence. I didn't confront him that night. I couldn't. I needed to understand what I was dealing with. Was this emotional cheating? Was there more? Ethan came home around 10 p.m., his hair tousled, cheeks flushed. I stared at him in the dim light of our living room. "Everything okay?" he asked, sitting across from me. I forced a smile. "Yeah. Just tired." But I wasn't okay. I was breaking inside. My marriage was unraveling in the quiet, and I didn't know if I was supposed to scream or let it go with grace. Chapter 3: The Confrontation. 2 days later, I sat him down. "Ethan," I said, my voice trembling. "Who's Lucas?" His face went pale, and then tight. He looked down at his hands, twisting his wedding band slowly. "I was going to tell you," he said softly. "I just didn't know how." "What is there to tell?" I asked. Have you been seeing him?" He hesitated. "Yes." My breath caught. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he continued. "I met him at a gallery opening. We started talking, and it felt like something I hadn't felt in a long time." "With me?" I whispered. "No," he said, finally looking me in the eyes. "With myself." Chapter 4: Identity and History. Ethan had always been supportive of LGBTQ+ rights. We had friends who were gay or bi, and he never once showed discomfort. But it had never occurred to me that he might be questioning himself, or hiding. "I've always known," he admitted. "Even before we got married. But I thought I could choose the life that made sense. The life I was supposed to live. And I do love you. Just not the way I thought I could forever." I cried. Of course I did. The betrayal was sharp, but there was also a strange tenderness in his honesty. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He was finally trying to be whole. Chapter 5: A New Reality. We began sleeping in separate rooms. Not out of anger, but because there was now space between us that couldn't be bridged. Ethan stayed in the guest room and began spending more nights at Lucas's apartment. The change was swift, but respectful. I had to learn how to be alone again. I started therapy. I told my sister. I even joined a support group for spouses of LGBTQ+ partners. There, I met people who'd been through the same journey, some who were bitter, some who had healed. I wanted to be one of the ones who healed. Chapter 6: The First Goodbye. 3 months after our talk, we filed for divorce. It wasn't dramatic. We split the furniture, agreed on who got the dog, he did, but I still get visits, and divided the books like old friends parting ways. The last night in our house, we sat on the back porch with a bottle of red wine. "I'll always be grateful for you," he said. I nodded. "Me too." There was no anger left. Just grief, and a strange kind of peace. Chapter 7: Life After Him. I moved into a smaller apartment in Midtown, close to my work and a few galleries I'd always wanted to visit. I painted again. Went on solo hikes. Took a cooking class. And one day, 6 months after our split, I saw Ethan and Lucas at a local street fair. They held hands like it was the most natural thing in the world. Lucas looked happy. Ethan looked alive. He saw me across the street and waved. I smiled and waved back. Chapter 8: The Letter. A few weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. Ethan's handwriting. Dear Anna, I don't expect you to write back. I just wanted to say thank you. For the years, the love, and the grace. I will always remember how you treated me, even at my worst, with kindness. Lucas and I are moving in together. I hope someday you find what I have, truth and peace. With love. Ethan. I cried. But this time, they were tears of release. Chapter 9: Rebirth. Now, over a year later, I'm dating again. Slowly. Carefully. But with hope. The journey wasn't easy. Loving someone who is discovering themselves can be painful. But it taught me what real love is, not just the kind that binds two people together, but the kind that lets them go. Because love, when it's true, doesn't imprison. It frees.